It's 2025 and we have literally spent the best part of 10 years now hunting Easter eggs in Battlefield 4. We're not even considering Battlefield 5's potential Easter eggs that we've never found, or Battlefield 2042 may have multiple Easter eggs that have never been found. This is Battlefield 4, and we've got a new Battlefield coming out very soon, whether it be BF6 or some other name that I may know of. But the point is, it's 10 years of people searching for Battlefield 4 Easter eggs. And we know these Easter eggs. Like you can see on my YouTube here, just searching for Battlefield 4 Easter eggs, you can see the most commonly known, by the way, found Easter eggs. These are ones that people know of and they are found. The Yeti was probably the earliest Easter egg found in Battlefield 4. And then we have certain fake videos like this, like an Easter egg Yeti on Operation Locker. Fake as shit. Obviously we know the Megalodon is correct, but at first it was on Nancha Strike, right? But it was never on Paracel Storm, which it was originally hinted to be on. And it turned out it was originally supposed to be on Nancha Strike, on Paracel Storm. But then the devs put it into Nancha Strike because it was already in the game files to do so. But it doesn't matter how hard you search for Easter eggs on Battlefield 4. I can honestly tell you this. There is nobody in the world alive today that has searched so deeply to what I have done into that game to make sure that all of these Easter eggs are uncovered. And let me tell you why. Because I wouldn't say 10 years, but I will say this. For at least the last 5 years, I have torn apart every single game file that there is to exist of Battlefield 4, included CTE releases that I have backed up separate installs. And the only one that really stands out is obviously the Megalodon. But we do know for a fact from ex-DICE developers and current DICE developers, even today, that there are multiple Easter eggs in Battlefield 4 that have never been solved. Okay? So, for example here, Danny's got a great video from 4 years ago talking about unsolved Easter eggs in Battlefield 4. So, I'm quite happy to just vocally debunk them right now, because I know whether they are real Easter eggs or they're unsolved Easter eggs. So let's just go on it. Let's see what Danny says on this video from 4 years ago.
Here is Danny, and today apparently there are some Easter eggs left in Battlefield 4 that haven't been found, and some other curious things that have never been explained. Alright, on Giants of Karelia there are 1 or 2 missing Easter eggs confirmed by GGGU.
That is very true. JJJU, Julian Monlove, who worked very, very closely on Battlefield 4 and was responsible for a majority of the Easter eggs, including the Phantom program, did confirm on what we called then as Twitter that there are unconfirmed, unsolved Easter eggs on Giants of Karelia. And this Easter egg right now I have already confirmed on my channel, and also confirmed that it is not an Easter egg, albeit it's a soundbite Easter egg, and that is all there is to it. And there are 6 circumstances that are required to replicate this Easter egg.
Apparently a whistling Easter egg which we've never consistently got.
Now I need to say this. For Danny to record that video is a 1 in a 250 chance of having that actually work. The soundbite is included in the game files for the map, and I've heard them at high quality and they are on previous videos I've put on my channel. But I will say this, is that the trigger for them are very specific. There has to be virtually only 5 players on the server or less. 5 or less players on the server. And it also needs to be an unranked server. Now why this is a circumstance that they've put this Easter egg in the game from day one is unknown. But we do know how to trigger it, and it is a sound effect that is quite easily found within the game files using a free piece of tool called the Frosty Editor, and just by looking under the XP levels Giants Corellia map.
And something else that you can trigger that we've never found, confirmed by Eggmaster Julian Manilov. And on
that Easter egg was found. It's a little toy soldier of a 2142 Walker, and it simply makes a sound effect. It's a completed Easter egg. There is nothing more to that Easter egg than what we've already found.
Graveyard Shift, we've always been looking at these lamps that give hit markers. Other similar lamps don't have this behavior. Only these ones in the Chinese bunker.
Zavod and Graveyard Shift is the same map, albeit it is a clone of Zavod, and that has been debunked because the actual hit registration for destroying the light itself was not disabled, and that's all there is to it. It was a simple mishap during development where it led to the fact that you can shoot these lights and a hit marker will appear, and that is proven by comparing the original Zavod to Graveyard Shift.
About that, why are the Chinese LEDs in Russia? There is also this funky camera in the US base that stops the moment you're in its view.
This camera is just a normal static object which is shown throughout the entire game, plus all of the DLCs and premium maps. The actual static object is programmed to do that, and it does not lead to any secondary triggers or any kind of Easter egg. It will always stop and look at the player, and it will flash its lights at you. However, on Nansha Strike, that camera is abused and exploited by somebody that wanted to put an Easter egg in by putting a voice up against the door to say you're not welcome here, but there's nothing more to it.
Some other things are this damn skull on Operation Lockers at the C flag that has been bugging me since launch. There's also these buttons that you can't interact with, but are still curious to say the least.
The buttons are simply static objects that were placed by the map designer because it fed into the map design. There is nothing more to it. The skull and crossbones on the door were again placed there as decals, and that decal can be found throughout the entire game in various different places. It is just simply a decal that was simply placed on that door. So to anybody that wants to know what's behind that door, there is something, but not nothing. it appears that behind that door was a secondary corridor. So it's potentially possible that this door could have been destroyed. And then it led down to a secret corridor to give you a secondary flank to the next flag. But nothing more than that. And actually, if you use BF4 cinematic tools, you can prove that to yourself just by simply clipping through the door to see what is behind the door, and you will see that there is an actual archway, a tunnel and a staircase, which is inaccessible normally, but it was incompleted at the time of development because it was deemed unnecessary. So there is no Easter egg there.
That's the C flag that has been bugging me since launch. There's also these buttons that you can't interact with, but are still curious to say the least, and are often used to trigger eggs, like the dino on MP Dish.
The dino on MP Dish I can share further light on. The dinosaur sound effect on MP Dish. Now, that does have various game files to suggest that the soft toy of the Tyrannosaurus Rex that was used in the single player and also seen in Battlefield 3 that made the return into the single player in Battlefield 4 was also used as a giant model when the trees move at the same time as the sound effect. But it looks as though it was implemented and then deleted simply because the game used too much resources to then load single player resources into a multiplayer map, and that was potentially removed, and it could have been a real Easter egg where you actually see the Tyrannosaurus Rex model, which we know in the Battlefield series being as a little toy. That was potentially removed because of resource management and optimization for the game at retail launch.
And on Nuncha Strike we have this area saying "stay away" and other ominous stuff.
There's nothing behind the door. I spent many months. I even made an April Fool about the door being open. I mean, wow. 8 years ago, I made a April Fool's joke on Twitter about the door being finally open, and that captivated a lot of people. But I already knew there was nothing behind the door, and there is nothing behind the door. It's just simply a little bit of map design to make you wonder, and there's really nothing more to it than that. The sound effect is pretty cool. It's pretty creepy, but there is absolutely no Easter egg involved with Manchester Strike except for the Megalodon. I know that for a fact.
Do you remember any other funky things on the BF4 maps? Let me know. But hey, that is all I got for now. Subscribe for more. This was Danny.
So that was just Danny's little collaboration of unsolved Easter eggs in Battlefield 4. And the more you search through YouTube for Easter eggs, I mean an actual basket of Easter eggs, they appear in every single Battlefield game since Battlefield 3. And actually, I'm pretty sure they even existed in Battlefield Heroes and a short-lived Battlefield free-to-play, which was a remake of Battlefield 2, which I will say was an excellent free-to-play game, and it's a shame they stopped making that. That was a good game. We all know about the Phantom Bow and the Phantom Room on Hangar 21. Now, let me just cut this short. Hangar 21 holds a lot of secrets. There is a lot of code still visible in the game files today which suggests multiple different outcomes of what the phantom bow entailed. For example, there is code to suggest that the actual ship inside the Hangar 21 would physically exit the hangar doors when somebody found and collected the phantom bow. And there are animations to suggest in the Levolution files that when somebody found the phantom bow and actually picked it up for the first time, it wouldn't happen if you'd repeated the steps. It was the first time you ever entered that phantom room and picked up that phantom bow. The people on the top of the map that were playing the game as normal, that ship would actually exit the hangar and blow fire over the land, and then it would retract back into the hangar back to its normal state. That no longer happens, and again I think that feature was removed because of resource management and optimization, and nothing more. I don't believe it's anything more than that. Every other step that was created to find that phantom bow was already pre-planned by the elevator, the dog tags, but we did not have access to that lift, that elevator, to go to the phantom room until probably about 4 months after Hangar 21 was released to retail version. However, the phantom bow room existed since day one, or in fact just even after the first patch of the release of of Hangar 21, if you understand what I mean. So it was a secret that was there for for a long time, and there are even reports of people being able to clip under the map with a parachute and physically land on the roof of the phantom bow room underneath the map of Hangar 21. And this was months and months before anybody had ever touched the phantom bow. So that was withheld because the actual phantom bow weapon was not completed, and the actual steps and Python code that was introduced for that to actually exist was also not fully implemented. It may have contained bugs, and that is one of the reasons why the developers such as Julian Molinov and whoever, I think it might have even been Tigger as well, Nicholas Astron, it may have had a role to play in this, then so be it. The reason why it was delayed was simply because it wasn't perfect enough, and the retraction of the ship was also removed because it was too much of a link. Anyway, Independence Day Easter egg, that's a great one. That was been and gone, and I believe that is actually just in CTE, and it was in a single patch of BF4. That's my live stream right now. Exploding ship in BF4, early found 11 years ago. Jack Frags posted this 11 years ago. Again, you just shoot that light on the ship, you get a nice big explosion. There's nothing more to it. It's no different to shooting the light for getting the Yeti Easter egg. It is weapon dependent because of the distance. You can actually activate the Yeti Easter egg on Goldmud Railway without using a rocket launcher. You can use a sniper rifle if you are a good enough accurate shot and you are quick enough to do it. It is not weapon dependent. Because of the distance between the trigger point and the ship is so short, They only had to put an exclusion on the scope that was on the weapon to make you have to pick up sniper rifle for you to see what you see here, that light there on that porthole. But that is absolutely no different to the trigger of the Goldmud Railway Yeti Easter egg. We all know about Megalodon, and I'm not too sure if I can be bothered to go into Megalodon because it's been covered so many times, and it's obviously such a famous Easter egg. But what I can say is this, is that there is still one location on Paracel Storm as of today that has still not been found where you can trigger the Megalodon Easter egg. We know that the 4 or 5, I think it may be 5 common areas that you can trigger a Megalodon Easter egg on Battlefield 4 is by climbing a palm tree which has a parrot on it. And then when the storm hits that, the storm and the lightning hits the wind turbine, after a few seconds you'll see that light in the sea at a certain angle as long as you're up that tree, and you can activate that Easter egg. And you do not need any special tags, you simply just need to have the Phantom camo on your gun. There is a 6th trigger to this which we have tried to, well, we know where the trigger is, but we don't believe that we know what the skin is that is required for you to trigger that Easter egg. But it does exist because it's in the game files, and it's quite clearly, it even shows us the coordinates on the map which we've extrapolated. That is also covered on various other videos on my channel and other channels as well. I have yet to see anybody trigger the 6th Megalodon on Paracel Storm, but it's there and it exists, so we know it's solved. So there was an Easter egg on Battlefield 4 regarding Pearl Market, which is an important one that I wanted to tell you about. I mean, there's Graveyard, Easter egg, the Rise of the Valkyries Easter egg. Okay, we'll get back to this one because there may be a secondary part of this Easter egg which has still not been solved. So Pearl Market potentially had the potential of having an Easter egg which allowed you to do a secret tunnel flank to the other side of the map, and I think it was also further removed because of resources, file sizes, whatever. I don't know what decisions they made to remove it. There's a lot of suggestive material on Pearl Market that would say that there was a secret underground tunnel that would be an escape route for people that lived in Pearl Market and could be potentially used by the military, and that's what sparked that Easter egg. I personally haven't found anything about that. Home of the Yeti, so we've done that, but what I'm going to do is type in here the UFO, because everybody wants to know about the UFO Easter egg on Battlefield 4. And I mean, there's various different videos of Easter eggs, but the one we specifically are interested in is the one that is on propaganda. Now you can see that I've got a couple of UFO Easter egg question mark videos here which are obviously not real Easter eggs, they are question mark Easter eggs. We'll get to the meteorite afterwards. Jack Frags first posted a video about there potentially being a UFO sighting on propaganda. Let me just wet my whistle. And it was a friend of him that was on TeamSpeak or Discord at the time. Probably wasn't Discord, it was earlier than Discord. And they were in a voice call playing on propaganda, and he said, "Oh, I've just seen a UFO." And he seemed very genuine about it. Well, let's just cut the story short. There is absolutely no UFO whatsoever on propaganda. There really isn't. And the reason why I can say that right now is that I have absolutely destroyed the map files for propaganda on top of all of the other game files, and there is absolutely nothing that could potentially lead to a UFO Easter egg on propaganda. I'll play this video just for the sake of playing it, but I promise you it will be a fake video. It doesn't exist. Right. What I will say is that this is possibly a fake video, and if it's not, then there may be something in the game files to suggest that there is a shark texture that flies through the sky really fast, just as a joke, and it's like a 1 in 10,000 chance. Because if you actually look at that, it is the shape of a shark or a dolphin with something going around it. But I think that's pareidolia, and I think that there is a ricochet effect from something else that's happened in the map, or it's a object on fire that has just been ragdolled through the map. Whatever it might be, I don't think it's anything important at that point. I have searched through this game for years now, and I can assure you that there is no UFO Easter egg on propaganda. However, I'm quite happy to say I'm 90% sure of that, and that 10% that I'm unsure about could be the fact that there is an effect that has been so well hidden that is a combination of other special effects that are already in the game, whether it be in the single player campaign or other multiplayer games, other multiplayer maps, that have been combined and linked to resemble what people would mistake as a UFO. But I can assure you there is no sound effect for it. I can assure you that it has no further there's no sequence of events, let me say that. It may be just the fact that it's a very simplistic randomized trigger of special effects that already accepted, that's already been a part of the retail version of the game. There is nothing that I would consider there being an Easter egg here at all. Not in this scenario. That texture does look like potentially the shark Easter egg with some strange things going around it. So when it comes to unsolved Easter eggs, the meteorite Easter egg on Hangar 21 I found 4 years ago. It only feels like a year ago or 2 years ago, but it's actually 4 years ago. And I actually found the game files for this UFO Easter egg. And it wasn't really a UFO. It was a meteorite. It was a shooting star. And this is on Hangar 21. I'm going to turn my voice off here. And I actually stumbled across this by complete accident, by doing a lot of cross-referencing of files and texture files which were linked to certain Levolution events and other special effects that were on the map. Even the snow particles that you see right now on the screen when you are on Hangar 21 was a part of the special effects wrapper, basically. I dissected all of them, and the one that really stood out was the shooting star. And then that shooting star texture was cross-referenced with a Levolution event, which then that Levolution event was cross-referenced with meteorite, as the word itself was meteorite. So that got me spending many more hours on trying to dissect whether this could be an Easter egg or just a very random special effect event. And it does turn out that it very much so could be an actual meteorite. And to this day it's not been proven 100%. But what I can tell you is that when a person for the first time collects the Phantom Bow from the Phantom Room as a new player, anybody that is on the surface, instead of seeing the ship come out of the hangar, will now instead see a very quick scene of a meteorite fly across the sky. And this is absolutely proven in the game files. I've proven it on a very lengthy stream 4 years ago. I've even covered it even recently, about 18 months ago, on my channel. A couple of other YouTubers have further also confirmed this as well. But the actual series of events have been impossible to replicate because there isn't enough people. So I mean, there's like a Discord group for like the Battlefield Easter egg community, and all they really care about is like the current Easter eggs and not past Easter eggs, and they're not willing to get together as a team to actually quash the fact that there's still unexplained Easter eggs in previous titles. By the time we'd figured out there could have been a meteorite Easter egg on this map, they were still trying to solve Battlefield 2042 Easter eggs, and they were completely not interested about there being a team of people to try and come back to these older ages to sort these Easter eggs out. And this is one of the reasons why Easter eggs go unseen for like sometimes 25 or even 30 years after a game has been released. And I think this could be one of them if it's not solved soon enough with a team of people. There is, however, shooting stars on this map, but they are so rare to see. But the event that we're talking about is an actual meteorite, a burning flame through the sky. And I think in this video, in this stream that I did 4 years ago, yeah, I show you that I'm going through the game files to prove it. I think it's necessary that a group of new players with new accounts to Battlefield 4 retrace the steps of this, I would say you probably need a minimum of 4 brand new accounts of Battlefield 4 with the DLC for Hangar 21 to get the dog tags, and then go down to the Phantom Room and then have a new fifth player be on the surface to actually see what happens. This event is quite spectacularly coded. I mean, a lot of work has gone into this piece of code in the files for this to actually occur. It's not simply just a visual effect. It's got fire, it's got flames, it's got a tail, it's got sparkles, it's got I don't think it has I can't remember if it has a sound effect, but seriously, it's something that you can actually see. And I think maybe if you're stood on the satellite dish at the top of that mountain and somebody picks up that phantom bow for the very first time, and that person that stood at the top of the mountain next to the satellite dish looks in the sky, they're going to see something pretty cool. But I've already seen it because it's in the game files. The textures are available, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Oh, it's not just about the textures, it's also about how it's triggered. With Frost the editor, it allows you to make reference, and all of it is reference to the fact that the phantom bow is a pickup weapon. So that's where we've made the assumption that you've got to pick up that phantom bow. And it also references new player to the phantom bow, so it's not somebody that's gone back down there, or it's somebody that's had more than a certain amount of hours, or they've got a certain skin. This is somebody that has potentially basically got a clean account with very little unlocks, picks up the phantom bow for the first time, and they get the shooting star trail pieces and whatnot, which is collaborated into a Levolution event of the meteorite. But that nevertheless is actually solved. That's a solved Easter egg, although it's not actually been witnessed thoroughly in the game. So we've covered the UFO. It goes into sort of Battlefield 5 now, and this is an interesting video, and I'm going to play this with the volume up as well, because this is actually interesting, albeit I think it might be a April Fool. We're not entirely sure about it, but I'll play this video.
Holy shit, the shit has hit the fan. So this morning I'll wake up to check the tweets about the BF5 Predator Easter egg that we're still looking for. And
5 years ago I had a beard. Wow.
with very little hesitation, Niklas has tweeted in response to Squidgy's tweet, same thing with that spaceship in BF4.
Yeah, so this tweet was quite... This is actually quite a landmark occasion for Easter egg hunters in Battlefield, because at this point in time everybody was searching for the Predator in Battlefield 5. And Nicholas said the same thing with that spaceship in Battlefield 4. So we corrected him by saying no, the spaceship was in Battlefield 3 on Operation Riverside, as Collision quite rightly said on Twitter.
And we thought at that point in time is in BF3, whichever saying.
He then responded with the tweet. And this is a developer that is directly linked to multiple Easter eggs, especially in BF5. I didn't mean this one, and that's not a spaceship. This is a tribute drone to Battlefield 2042. So at that point we understood that Nicholas knew that we were talking about correcting him on the UFO that's in Battlefield 3. But no, he indirectly confirmed that there was a spaceship in Battlefield 4. Scary, because that spaceship in my terms does not exist in the game files. So unless there is a very, very, very special way of hiding an Easter egg beyond what they've been able to do up until this day, then I don't know. Because I mean, for example, I can dissect Battlefield 2042 right now, and I can see such things like the Sharknado Easter egg, and trust me, I'm really not a fan of Battlefield 2042. I think the game's a load of shite, and I don't like that game whatsoever. I really don't like it. It has nothing true to Battlefield about it apart from shite and kids, you know. It's just not my game. But I appreciate they put sharks in it as a tribute back to Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 also, which is another fantastic game for Easter eggs. But
holy shit, this is big news. Yep. Based to imply you.
yeah, that was the night that I said that sleep is cancelled.
Maybe it was just for a couple of weeks, but after that Jack Frags video came up of his friends spotting it, and then there being various videos about this as well being put on YouTube, the hunt was intense. I mean, this was a dead serious Easter egg hunt, and we'd even ever see an alien trees. And also, now we're not just...
So I further picked up on a further potential Easter egg in Battlefield 4 with the dog tag, which was called Alien Trio. And the Alien Trio dog tag in Battlefield 4, when you look at it on Battlelog, has the identifier number of something called, well, it's basically it's like alien349.png or something like that. And not only is it an Alien Trio dog tag, that same Alien Trio artwork can be found on Flood Zone, which then sparked a further UFO potential alien Easter egg in Battlefield 4 on Flood Zone map. That doesn't exist. I can assure you it does not exist. Whether it was potentially going to be an Easter egg and it never made it in, I don't care. It does not exist. What is scary though is that there is wow, how do I even find what I will say though is that there is references to the numbers 349 in various other Battlefield Easter eggs, and one of the strangest ones was IQ10 or something. IQ10, IQ12, 13, IQ, I can't remember what the number was. IRQ, let me just try IRQ Battlefield, and I'll tell you why I put this in is that a whole 2 years before Battlefield 2042 was released, no, don't want it, Iraq, it was called IRQ. 2042, does that work? see, it's really difficult to find this video. IRQ, is it 13? Try IRQ 13. IRQ 13. If you're watching this video, just bear with me. I'm going to show you something strange. IRQ 13. No. IRQ. How do I find this now? Wow, it's been a long time. Let me explain. 349 was the identifier for the alien trio dog tag, and it was also the identifier for the artwork that was placed on the wall of Flood Zone in Battlefield 4. The numbers 3, 4 and 9. And 2 years before Battlefield 2042 was released, there was a YouTuber that released a video of Zavod, the map Zavod 311, and those 3 letters were like all over the video. Like everything was based around 349. There was like Morse code which revealed as 349, and then there was like artwork which revealed itself as 349, and everything was about the numbers 3, 4 and 9. So the 3 was the trio, the alien trio. We don't know what the 4, Battlefield 4 maybe. The 9, we have no idea. I don't know what that was about. But what he did do is leak the fact that the next Battlefield was going to be Battlefield 2042, and that was released 2 years before anybody had ever heard of Battlefield 2042. I mean, people were still playing Battlefield 5 and quite happy with Battlefield 5, and there was still ongoing support for Battlefield 5. And this guy basically has said that the clues for Battlefield 2042 were in Battlefield 4. Is it 15? IRQ 15. This is it. Yeah, this is it here. Watch that. This was 4 years ago. So this was 2 years before Battlefield 2042. So this was on there's no specific date on here, but I did put a comment on there which was 3 years ago, and I was already late to the scene on this. By the way, this was way before Battlefield 2042, and just tell me what you notice. It's really weird. I'm going to pause it there. The screen comes on this screen that doesn't normally come on in the game, and it's got like a Battlefield sort of a number 6 in the Battlefield font, but then it says 2042. literally says Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 6 is not Battlefield 6. It's Battlefield 2042. And this is 2 years before 2042 was even released. And this here, if you look at this, it's like the Phantom program from Battlefield 4, right? But there are inconsistencies here that I can remember. So, when you look at the actual Phantom program on Battlefield 4, current user that would come up with your username. Premium user, it says not applicable, and it's like, well, I'm sure it used to come up with like true because you couldn't access it without there being a premium account. And then if you look through this a bit further, it's like version 2.021, so like the year 2021. Well, hang on a second. The original version of the Phantom program was like 2015 when we first found it. Latency timer to 128, it used to be 64. I'm sure there was like loads of inconsistencies in this, but it was actually almost exactly the same as the Phantom program. Even the color is exactly the same and everything. And then phase 5 now active, awaiting further instructions, which is what it does. Yeah, and then you pause it and you start getting all this glitch effect. And then you literally get there like Julian Monolov. You get Julian Monolov, JJJU his name was, who did the Easter eggs. You literally get his with the skull. I know it's just a skull, but that is actually the skull of Julian Monolov in Battlefield 1 when he was doing the Easter eggs. And then it's like this. It's like 6-3, 6-3, and then 3-3-6 and all this stuff, and it was just nobody understood that. And there's something in here that was about that 3-4-9, something to do. Anyway, clever video. It was good, very clever, and then there was this, which is interesting because now we are watching BF6 right now unfold right in front of us. It's 2025, right? And this was posted on the 15th of December 2020. Yeah, because the date was there specifically. And we've got references to Kazakhstan, which we've had with the new Battlefield code name. This is 2025, by the way. Oh yeah, and I put a comment on this just the other week saying it's Battlefield, and no, it's BF, and it's a reboot of. It's technically so Battlefield 6 is going to be more like a reboot of Battlefield 2 and Battlefield 4 than anything. We've got the sound effects of like Battlefield 2 in the background from 2006. And then what's really, really strange is that from the 15th of December 2020, you minus the days and the hours and the minutes, it's 2042. So was Battlefield 6 supposed to be there before 2042 or something? Anyway, I'm going to end this stream. I hope you've enjoyed this because this is literally just about Battlefield Easter eggs that are still unfound. I'm sure they'll be found at some point in the future. You can see my fucking history if you want, I don't care. I'm going to get back to some fast show comedy, and you guys, I'll see you again at some point in the future. God, it's been such a long time I don't even know how to turn my stream off.